Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today I want to talk about these Detroit Pistons. Of course, the Detroit Pistons. I'm always talking about them because they're one of my favorite teams to take a look at. This team has so much potential. They're exciting, they're young, they're talented. And today I want to dive into just what we can take away from that Rico Hines run that we've probably all watched several times by now. If you enjoy this video, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Look, I know a lot of people have said you can't read too much into it. They're just building chemistry, they said. They're trying to gel. Cade is getting his guys back together, and he's trying to make sure they're all on the same page. But what I saw, as somebody who has coached the game of basketball, played the game of basketball, been paid to do both, I am officially saying this is going to be the starting lineup. And not only is this going to be the starting lineup, the roles that we saw each of those guys play is likely going to be exactly how they're going to play next season. You know, sometimes people point out that pickup ball, rec league ball, isn't real basketball. In fact, they're saying it's definitely not NBA and what they're going to be doing when referees get out there. And so they discount what they see in these types of settings. But one of the things that I always have to remind people of is Rico Hines runs in LA is not pickup basketball. This is not a rec league. This is specifically set up, as Mr. Hines himself would say, it's specifically about you getting better, about you working on the things you need to be successful as you play in your professional leagues coming into the new year. That is what his run is set up for, meaning that guys are not just going out there doing whatever they want. Guys are actually playing a very structured, highly intensified, competitive setting of organized basketball that is set up to allow you and your teammates, who are most of the time going to be the teammates you're going to be playing with the following year, whether it's in the NBA, the G League, college, or overseas. And you're not only going to be playing with them, but you're going to be playing what even he would demand the right way. You're not going to be taking shots that you're never going to see in the NBA. You're not going to be running plays and doing moves that you're never going to get a chance to do in the NBA. The guys who are doing it, it's because they still have the green light to do it. The guys who are not, it's because they don't have that green light. This is why you didn't see Jaden doing a step back three. Instead, he was spotting up in the corner, running pick and rolls with Cade Cunningham. There's a reason why you didn't see Jaden Ivey bringing the ball up, setting up the offense. Because that's not going to be his role. And so when we understand the setting a little bit better, we begin to understand that, yeah, you can read into this a little bit more than your average pickup run. Now, people have also said, well, until they get with head coach Monty Williams, I don't know if we can say that that's who the starting five is going to be or that's the style of play. Why would you all think they have not met with Monty Williams already? Remember, when he was introduced, they were all sitting front row. Cade Cunningham had his team at the press conference. You don't think they've been in consistent conversation with head coach Monty Williams since the moment he was hired? He would not be Monty Williams and who he is today if he was not the type of coach to establish relationship and open lines of communication to ensure that they were on the same page, lock and step, not waiting until training camp, but even in preparation for a training camp. These boys have been talking to Monty. They already have an idea of what the scheme is going to be. Right? If you ever listen to guys in the draft, if you ever listen to, let's say, like the NFL draft, I remember one time I was listening to these interviews, and this quarterback said the moment he was drafted by his team, they gave his agent the playbook to give to him. The moment he was drafted. He's not at training camp yet. He hasn't gone through the rookie orientation yet. And he already has the playbook. He already has the full outline of what he's going to need to start trying to memorize in preparation for training camp. You see, this is what sometimes we discount, is the amount of work and effort that goes into preparing these guys for success. I don't think for a second they were doing anything in that open run that Monty Williams has not already explicitly affirmed that he's going to be pushing them to make sure that they do. And when you think about the culture that Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Ausar Thomson, Isaiah Stewart already embody, these are hard hat players. These are Detroit Pistons through and through, who understand the lunch pail mentality, who understand you get your orders of what you need to accomplish and you execute it. They're not just going out there trying to build chemistry. Jaden Ivey is fine-tuning his ability to move off the ball and hit catch and shoot threes while getting out in transition. Jalen Duren is fine-tuning his pick and roll while spotting up in the corner or at the top of the key for pick and pop or kick out opportunities. Ausar Thomson is fine-tuning his scoring off the ball and playing a high level of lockdown perimeter defense. You see, what we see these guys doing, I think, is exactly what we're going to be seeing next year. They're not just trying to gel by doing anything. They're gelling by doing exactly what they're going to be asked to do walking into training camp. And this adds even more emphasis to why I think Ausar Thomson is going to be in that starting lineup. Because he gives them an identity that embodies what it means to be a Detroit Piston. You see, spreading the floor and hitting threes is not the identity of a Detroit Piston. Being able to run really smooth-looking offense and, making sure that there's this extra spacing and three-point shooting, that's not what championship Detroit basketball is about. Being hard-hitting, physical, intense, defensive-minded basketball, that is everything that it means to be a Detroit Piston. You see, Ausar Thomson, people are already calling him Ron Artest or Meta World Peace, whichever one you want to go with. I kind of prefer Ron Artest because I liked him a little crazy. But if you begin to see that level of defense from a player, you begin to realize that that is far closer to what you are hoping your team becomes, rather than somebody of a Bojan Bogdanovic who's able to score maybe far more efficiently, but is also going to give up far more defensively. And if you're trying to establish a culture, an identity of a team, it starts from day one. It starts from the moment they start building chemistry. What are we going to be about? We already know Isaiah Stewart is physical. We all know Jalen Duren is physical. But what we've lacked is a level of physicality and defensive intensity on that perimeter. And as committed as Cade Cunningham is, I don't think any of us expect him to be our best perimeter defender going up against the best offensive player night in and night out. That's going to have to be Ausar Thomson. Bogdanovic is not cut out for that. Jaden Ivey is not cut out for that. Sorry, he's just not. And so I think what we saw is exactly what the Detroit Pistons are going to look like going into training camp and starting at the beginning of the season. And I, for one, am excited as hell about it. So what I want y'all to do is go back and watch that run and tell me what y'all think. How good do you think this team can be if this is where they're starting from and where they could potentially be at the end of a training camp with Monty Williams going into next season? Get at me in the comment section, and I'm going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.